We're going to turn now to John Brennan, who is the Assistant to the President for Homeland Security and Counterterrorism. Welcome to you, Mr. Brennan. I understand you don't have very much good news this morning either. The government was saying last week, and I'll get right to it, that there was really no evidence to suggest that this Times Square bomber was anything other than what Secretary Napolitano called a one-off, in other words, a lone wolf. I understand now that evaluation has totally changed.
Yes. Well, first of all, Bob, I'd like to, on behalf of the President and the White House, extend a happy Mother's Day to all those wonderful mothers out there, including my own and my wife, who make this country so great. It's clear that Faisel Shahzad was working on behalf of the Taliban Pakistan. That's the TTP. That's a militant terrorist organization within Pakistan that is closely allied with Qaeda. He was trained by them, he received funding from them. He was basically directed here to the United States to carry out this attack. Investigation is ongoing. We have good cooperation from our Pakistani partners and from others. We're learning more about this incident every day, and we're hopeful we're going to be able to identify any other individuals that were involved.
May I just ask you, sir, and I mean no disrespect in saying this, but this is so different from what the government was saying last week. How do you know that?
Well, an investigation is the result of good work on the part of law enforcement, intelligence, Homeland Security. We have Faisel Shahzad in custody now. He has been cooperating. We're finding out information from him. As we learn information, we're able to pull the threads. We're able to track down these leads, and working with our partners internationally, we have a much better understanding now of what was at play here that led him to try to carry out this attack in Times Square.
Well, did he tell you this? Is this his version of events, or?
He is sharing a lot of information with us. The debriefings are continuing. He was read his Miranda rights and continued to provide this information. I think it demonstrates the strength of our system that allows us to get this intelligence and to use it to prevent additional attacks. So we're learning things from him. We're learning things from the other investigative leads that we've been able to uncover, and I'm hopeful we'll be able to find out more in the days ahead.
Has anyone been arrested in Pakistan yet?
There are individuals that have been identified as being complicit in this. Again, we're working with the Pakistanis right now. I'm not going to go into details about the investigation. It is still at a very sensitive stage. We're trying to stay ahead of this curve, but we've been able to find out things that we didn't know in the immediate aftermath of this attempted attack.
May I ask you also this question? Why is it when these things seem to happen that the first response or the first reaction from government officials seems to be the old soothing syrup, to sort of play it down? Everything's okay, it's a lone wolf, the system is working, all of that sort of thing. Why is that?
Well, I think what happens when these incidents take place is, first of all, the system kicks into gear. And in a period of 53 hours, we were able to find this individual.
And that's remarkable.
And capture him and arrest him, yes, before he was able to escape this country in a very short period of time. When this incident took place, we knew that one individual had driven this vehicle to Times Square. What we didn't know at that time, whether or not he was working at the direction or with other individuals. So what we're trying to do is to be transparent with our knowledge, but at the same time not providing information that might somehow compromise our ability to follow up these investigative leads. So, but clearly now, our understanding is that the TTP had a major role in this incident.
Some people are saying that we really got lucky on this, that we got lucky on this just like we got lucky with the Christmas bomber, that we didn't see it coming. The guys started out on their mission, and they really failed because they were totally incompetent.
Well, I think there are two points here. One is that Shahzad and Abdul Muttalib and I think other individuals who are trying to carry out attacks, they have not been able to receive the type of training that would have allowed them to carry out an attack successfully. We've been able to degrade their capability to train at these camps in South Asia and the Pakistan-Afghan border. So I think they're opting for these less sophisticated attacks because of the tremendous blows that they have taken. But in addition, you know, when people are attributing this to luck, every day, hundreds of thousands of very brave American men and women who are overseas fighting in Afghanistan or are working on intelligence matters or law enforcement, Homeland Security at our ports of entry, they do a tremendous job of preventing individuals who are similarly trying to carry out these attacks. So what this does underscore is that we need to remain vigilant. We can't be complacent. We need to maintain a high security posture because we're facing a very determined and a lethal enemy.
Do we have any idea at this point what his motive was? Was he operating, and did this come about because it was in response to something we had done, or was this something that had been in the planning process for a long time?
Well, I think Al-Qaeda and a lot of these affiliated groups over the past 2 decades have lashed out against the United States because of what they perceive to be our policies. It's a distorted view of what we are doing, first of all, and secondly, it's a very distorted view of Islam. And so a number of individuals, Shazad, Najibullah Zazi, and others, have been taken in by this rhetoric that is spewed forth. It's a very murderous, venomous type of agenda that they have. Unfortunately, there are individuals who are attracted to that, and we have to find them, and we have to stop them before they're able to carry out these attacks.
Do you have any idea when he first started going back and forth? I mean, we know he's a naturalized citizen.
Well, over the past decade or so, he's been back and forth to Pakistan about a half dozen times or so. His most recent stay there was from the middle of last year until about February this year when he returned to the United States. It was during that period of time that he underwent this training and then became involved in the TTP planning to carry out these attacks. We know that TTP is a very dangerous organization. It's a terrorist organization. It's determined to kill. It's killed many people inside of Pakistan. The Pakistani military intelligence services have lost a lot of brave individuals who have been fighting the TTP. So that's why we have to stay very closely allied with our partners overseas. This is an organization as part of a broader umbrella group that will continue to try to lash out against us.
Well, should not some sort of a flag gone up, somebody going over back and forth, did you say 6 times?
Well, every day there are thousands upon thousands of individuals who come in and out of the United States, and many of them are repeat travelers overseas. What we try to do is to take a look at those patterns of travel, see what other indications there might be that individuals are involved in nefarious activities. We have a robust system in place. We were able to put his name onto the watch list as soon as we found him. He was able to be pulled off of that plane before he escaped. So what we try to do is to create these redundant systems, and what we need to do is to take the lessons away from this, as well as the Abdul Muttalib case and the Najibullah Zazi case, and continue to refine our practices.
What are the lessons so far?
Well, the lessons are we need to, as we instructed the airlines to do, every 2 hours now they have to update the no-fly list. In the past they were updating it every 24 hours, but names come into the system. And so thankfully we did have the redundancy about when the manifest was filed, we were able to pulse that against our no-fly list. Now airlines are required to have the updated list every 2 hours.
Should not a flag have been raised when a man makes a last-minute reservation? He obviously called the airline to make this reservation on the way to the airport and then laid down cash.
Well, that's right, and it was minutes before he got to the airport that happened. So we're talking about within the course of a couple of hours, the system was able to take the information that we were able to learn from the investigation, get it to the right people, be able to go to the airport and stop that plane before he left. So it's, we're talking about a very time-compressed period here, bringing together Homeland Security, FBI, and intelligence, and bringing it together as fast as we can.
Well, if I just called up and made a reservation an hour or so before a flight and walked in and paid cash, would that not trigger something or other? Wouldn't that raise questions? I mean, in this country, we know it's very hard to buy a car for cash when people walk in with cash. Mm-hmm. Don't we need to do something on that front?
Yes, well, we're looking at all of these different issues, and again, we were talking about a period of just a couple of hours before he was able to get on that plane. We need to be able to respond rapidly. We need to be able to bring to bear the capabilities we have, and so we're looking at what he did and how we can tweak the system. We've already tweaked the system. We will continue to do that so that we prevent these individuals from taking advantage of whatever opportunities there might be.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Brennan, very much for coming to see us this morning. We really appreciate it.